Often, the most advanced military weaponry gets attributed to powerhouses like the US or Europe, but it's in fact Israel that's responsible for one of the most effective series of tanks the world has ever seen. The Merkava tank is now on its 5th version, and it represents some of the most advanced developments in terms of the planet's armored vehicles. Let's take a look at just how powerful this tank is. Until the early 70s, Israel used to use tanks that were imported from other nations like the US and the UK. Initially, when the UK's Chieftain tank was being developed, Israel would collaborate on the design of the vehicle with a view to purchasing the tank for its own fleet. But this plan would be abandoned in favor of building an armored vehicle in-house that could be built to cope with Israel's challenging terrain. They needed something that could cope with both the rocky terrain of the Golan Heights, but also the soft, sandy plains of the Sinai Desert. General Israel Tal, the so-called father of the Merkava tank, made it very clear that the main feature needed from these new tanks was protection. The general would repeat to his staff throughout the design process that protection remained the highest priority for the Merkava, and this was never compromised as other features were vetoed. This is shown by the fact that, while most tanks designed for the 80s were equipped with a 120mm gun, the first 2 generations of the Merkava retained a 105mm weapon. Protection instead was number 1 ahead of a larger gun. All of the Merkava range tanks from the prototype to the Mark IV share a similar chassis, automotive system, and turret design. The differences come from the requirement priorities between mobility and firepower. The first design, which became the Merkava Mark I, showcased the basic design. It had a triangular flat turret with typical armor protection cells installed on both sides of the gun. The engine was forward-mounted, which allowed the rear to have an access hatch, stores, and flexible reconfiguration options. 9 years of development were needed to eventually deliver the first iteration of the Merkava to the Israel Defense Forces. The Mark I used a Teledyne Continental AVDS 1790 6A diesel engine, which delivered 908 horsepower. At 60 tons, it was slow, but remember that protection was the priority, not mobility. The ammunition for the 105mm gun was stored in special protected containers which held 4 rounds. The gun is loaded via a rear hatch. The tank had the capacity to carry up to 62 various rounds, including APFSDS, heat, HE frag, and smoke rounds. For additional protection, there was a 7.62mm machine gun, as well as 2 more 7.62mm machine guns on top of the roof. The tank could also be fitted with external 60mm mortar, which fired smoke, illumination, or anti-personnel rounds. The first Merkava was used in the 1982 Lebanon War, but at this stage, the Mark II had already been developed to enter service. The quick speed of this turnaround was due to continued development based on lessons and feedback from users, as opposed to a slow and linear operational testing process. The Mark II had new special armor modules installed on the turret's sides and skirts to further enforce the tank's protection. The Army kept the 105mm gun, but the tank was equipped with improved fire control and optronic equipment, bringing it to the same level as a fully upgraded M60S, but the main difference was that the Merkava offered superior protection. The next version took longer to enter operation, but the differences were dramatic between the Mark II and the Mark III. It was 7 years in 1989 before these were introduced. There was another new, modular armor concept, which meant that armor could be adapted quickly to evolving threats. The tank finally upgraded its gun to a 120mm version, produced by Israeli manufacturer IMI. The improved MG253 gun was upgraded to fire the latest ammunition types, including the APFDS Sabot ammunition. The 12.7mm main machine gun was also improved and fired longer and heavier HE rounds. As well as a new weapon, there was also a new 900 horsepower diesel engine that was developed by the German firm MTU. The process of introducing the Mark III went through its own evolutionary process during service and was upgraded at least 4 times. Upgrades were made with different armor configurations as well as different kinds of fire control and optronic systems. Changes were constantly informed by lessons learned through combat experience in Lebanon and Gaza. The Mark III proved to be so effective that the IDF made the decision to phase out its Centurion tank and M60S in favor of an exclusive Merkava force of armored vehicles. This new iteration had the latest improvements of modular removable armor and included another fire control upgrade with the addition of the LOP Knight Mark IV fire control system. Another improvement included the Elbit Battle Management System, where interaction and awareness of the battlefield were greatly improved. There were further upgrades to the protection of the tank, where vulnerable parts were strengthened for increasing urban warfare efficiency, including to the turret roof and the belly in a V shape to cope with landmines and better deflecting blasts. And as of now, the IDF has improved its flagship tank further still. The Mark IV, or Barak as it is otherwise known, is the latest and technologically advanced Merkava to date. It's an improvement on the already powerful Merkava 4 that integrates the latest technologies and innovations in protection and digital combat capabilities. However, the design of the vehicle is very similar to the previous models. The driver position is located on the left side of the hull, the turret at the rear of the hull, and the engine at the front. The tank has a crew of 4, including a driver, commander, gunner, and loader. Armament is also similar as it features the 120mm smoothbore gun courtesy of Israel Military Industries, which fires high-penetration projectiles and guided shells with a range of up to 4,000 meters. It has a V12 diesel engine developing 1,500 horsepower coupled to a ranked automatic transmission with 5 forward and 2 reverse gears. Produced is a maximum road speed of 64 kilometers with a maximum cruising range of 500 kilometers. This means the original requirement of protection is still there, but with less compromise on power. Arguably, the biggest improvement is the use of smart technology and the integration of the Trophy Active Protection System, designed to counter the most advanced anti-tank missiles, rocket-propelled grenades, anti-tank rockets, and high-explosive anti-tank rounds. Trophy can create a bubble around the vehicle to neutralize all of these threats. It can also rapidly detect, classify, and engage all known chemical energy threats, including recoilless rifles, ATGMs, AT rockets, heat tank rounds, and RPGs. This is the massively impressive Merkava tank. It's taken 5 decades to produce one of the most advanced tanks in the world, which was born out of a need for Israel to have their own fighting vehicle for their own terrain. What do you think about the Merkava? Let us know in the comments, and please like this video if you've enjoyed it. Thanks for watching!